शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। Thank you. Okay, so what are we here to speak about? Let me give you a clue. The background, my background. Anybody wants to tell me what are we talking about today?
Lord Varaha, the
Right.
Varaha Ekadashi, Dwadashi and today's Ekadashi.
Yes, yes. So we are going to be speaking about Lord Varahadeva, right? And also, few pastimes that are connected to Lord Varaha and his extended pastimes also. So we will talk about that connected to Lord Krishna. Now, before we start off with Lord Varahadev, let us give a little bit of a background that some of us may have heard of these pastimes before from Srimad Bhagavatam, and it's been popular. I don't know, some movies may have been there in the past, some old movies and all that. So some of you may have watched that, some television serials. So some may feel that look, these are things that we already know. Okay, but it's the nature of the pastimes of the Lord that no matter how many times we recite these wonderful, beautiful pastimes, they're always very beautiful to relish. They're always very nice to relish, right? Just like, do you know in India, which was the most popular television series during during COVID when there was a lockdown? Does somebody want to tell me?
Ramayan.
Yes. Ramayana. Ramayana was the most popular television series at that time because that is the nature. Even though it was a television series and it was enacted by some, ordinary human beings and actors and all that who were enacting the roles of the Lord, Sita, Rama, Lakshmana, Hanumanji, so on. But the pastimes are such that no matter how many times we have heard them, no matter how many times we have seen them, they're always new. They're always refreshing, right? I can challenge you that there may not be any such movie in the world, television series in the world that people can watch over and over and over again. You watch it once and you're done with it. Maybe if they're such crazy fans, they may watch it a couple of times here and there. But after some time, it's just like uh, Prahlad Maharaj says, chewing the chewed. When you take some sugarcane and you start chewing it, initially it is sweet, but one round it's sweet, and second time and then third time, there's nothing, or children have a habit of eating chewing gums or something. After some time, it just becomes tasteless and it becomes a burden in the mouth. We just want to spit it out, right? So, modern entertainment is like that, or mundane entertainment is like, not just modern. In the ancient days, also, there was mundane entertainment. So, any entertainment that does not have Krishna or Vishnu, we see that it becomes like a tasteless, tasteless, rancid chewing gum that we want to spit out at some time, right? Haven't we all listened to some songs or something that we thought, oh, such nice song, so nice. This singer so nicely sung it. You hear it once, twice, thrice, and after four, five times, you just feel, oh man, I can't listen to this song anymore. And then we're waiting for something new. But this is something that never happens with the pastimes of the Lord. No matter how many times we hear that, no matter how many times we speak about that, it is always very refreshing, always very pleasing to the heart. Right. So today we're going to be speaking about Lord Varahadeva. Okay. So a few things that you may have heard, and maybe few things you may not have heard. Okay. So let's educate each other with it. Hmm? So going back to um, before Lord Varaha appeared, there was a rishi called Kashyapa and his wife, Diti. Hmm. And Kashyapa is one of the Prajapatis. He's a son of Lord Brahma, and he was in charge. He was a very austere rishi, very powerful rishi also. I mean, being the son of Brahma is not ordinary, isn't it? So his duty was also to. He had a wife, yeah, several wives, in fact, and his duty was that he had to give birth to good population, more um, devatas, more pious people, so that the universe is filled with more and more pious people. That was his duty. So he had already, his other wives already had children, but his one wife called Diti, Diti had another sister called Aditi. From Aditi comes the devatas. Many devatas are born from her. And these devatas who are born from Aditi are called as Adityas. Okay, Adityas. Just like Surya, Surya Deva. For those who have attended Bhagavad Gita classes, Surya Deva has a specific name also. What is his specific name? Anyone?
Vivaswan.
Very good. Vivaswan. Right. So there's a shloka in Bhagavad Gita, right? Vivaswan manave praha manur ikshva kave bravit. So this Vivaswan. So Vivaswan is one of the Adityas. Um, Deva is one of the Adityas. Like that, there are so many Adityas, and they're all born of Aditi, one of the wives of Kashyapa. The other wife of Kashyapa, her name is Diti. Okay. So Adityas were born of Aditi, and who was born of Diti? The Daityas. Okay, so the same father had Adityas, Devatas, but he also had Daityas as children. So how were the Daityas born of a great rishi like that? A powerful rishi like him should not be able to give birth to Daityas. How did they take birth? So what happened was Diti was very eager to have a child. She had seen that Aditi was already giving birth to so many devatas, and she became envious. And she said, I also want children." And she she forced Kashyapa that I want children. And Kashyapa was telling her that, look, there is a time and a place to do this. There is a time we need to look at the right muhurta, right? And so this in our Vedic samskaras, this is called as Garbhadana samskara. Okay, Garbhadana samskara means we need to look at the right time, right muhurta, and the right mood and the right consciousness also to give birth to a child, correct? And to conceive a child, rather. Now, this was a wrong time. And Diti was asking Kashyapa, it was a wrong time. And what time was it? This was in the evening. This was a Sandhya Kala. Now, Sandhya Kala, it is at the time of sunset, is considered as a very crucial moment in a day. Okay. Now, during this Sandhya Kala, Bhutanath, who's Bhutanath? Anybody knows? So there is one
Shiva.
personality. Right. So Lord Shiva is called as Bhutanatha. Why is he called as Bhutanath? Because he gives shelter to all the ghosts. Different varieties of ghosts are there. Okay. Maybe someday I will tell you about the different varieties of ghosts. So Bhutanath. That's why he's called Bhutanath, because he gives shelter to all these ghosts. So that is why he spends time, considerable amount of time in the graveyard also, because there are a lot of bhutas over there. So he is Bhutanath because he gives shelter to all these, ghosts who have nobody else, nowhere else to go. So Lord Shiva is so merciful that he gives shelter to them. But they need to go somewhere. They also need to take birth. So what does Lord Shiva do? In the evenings, Lord Shiva, sitting on his Nandi and followed by all these bhutas, he travels the universe. Hmm? He travels the universe. So this Sandhya Kala, it is said that anybody who engages in any sexual activity during the Sandhya Kala, or not just sexual activity, even if somebody is sleeping in the evening during sunset, or even eating. during sunset. All these time, this particular time is very inauspicious for such activities, and such activities should not be done. And it is said that inauspicious things will happen in that person's life if they continue to do such things. Anyway, these were Vedic practices, and unfortunately, the world today, people have lost these samskaras. They don't understand the relevance. They just say where, what, scientific, give me some scientific evidence. So just because there is no evidence that you can perceive through your own eyes doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Hmm, like that. Anyway, so it was during the Sandhya Kala that by the force of Diti, because she was pressurizing so much that Kashyapa and Diti conceived at that particular point, and they were, and she was impregnated at that particular point. And immediately Kashyapa was really very upset with this. He said, "You shouldn't have forced me. This shouldn't have happened. And it's a wrong time." And Lord Shiva is going around, and his ghost will enter your womb now. Okay, his ghost will enter your womb now. So, in this way, she got impregnated. So, the two first Daityas were born of Diti. Now, Diti had twins in her womb. After this incident, she had twins in her womb. And she immediately regretted, she immediately repented it, and she begged for forgiveness from her husband, Kashyapa, and she said, I'm really very sorry that I did this. I pressurized you and I forced you in this particular way. I don't know what came over me. So Kashyapa said, now what is done is done. Now, in your womb, there are no devatas. There are two daityas taking birth. And these two daityas will create havoc in the universe. They'll create havoc. They will create trouble to everybody. They will kill the Brahmanas. They will stop all the Vedic rituals. And they will also go against Mahavishnu. Those are the two sons that you have in your womb right now. And she became so fearful. She became so fearful that she fell at the feet of her husband. And she said, only you can bless me. Please bless me. He said, there is nothing that I can do. What has happened has happened. But looking at the condition of of his wife, the pitiable condition of his wife, he said, I'm going to go now to deep meditation to repent. But to console you, I will bless you that though the two children are going to be Daityas, your grandson will be the greatest devotee ever known and the most popular in Srimad Bhagavatam. And who is that grandson?
Prahalad.
Prahlad.
Yeah, so Prahlad Maharaj or Bhakta Prahlad. So she was somehow a little pacified with that okay, my sons are like this, but at least my grandson will be very great. So um, these two people, she tried to contain her pregnancy for a very long time. You know, uh, sorry, just give me a minute. All right, she tried to contain her pregnancy for almost 100 years. She did not deliver her children for about 100 years, but finally she couldn't hold on, and the two Daityas were born. The first child that came, they were twins. The first child that came was Hiranyaksha, and the second one was Hiranyakashipu. Usually, people say that the elder son, because he came first, the elder son is Hiranyaksha, and the younger one is Hiranyakashipu. Actually, they are wrong. Okay, because Vedic science, embryology explains this is also how we think in the modern world, right? If somebody has twins, they feel that the first child that comes is elder and the second child is younger. Actually, it is the other way around. Vedic embryology explains that the younger child is the one that comes out first. Okay, so Hiranyaksha is the one that came first. So he is actually the younger one, followed by Hiranyakashipu. Okay, um, I can give you an analogy of, let's say, an elevator. Okay, when you go to in an elevator, person A walks into the elevator, person 2 walks into the elevator. Right? Sorry, person A, then person B. When they step out of the elevator, person B steps out first, then person A steps out first, steps out second. Correct. So the elder one comes second. So uh, In this case, Hiranyakashipu came second, Hiranyaksha came first. So this Hiranyaksha, extremely powerful. And the moment they were born, even though they were babies, they were roaring. They were roaring, and they were crying and they were roaring, and she didn't know what to do with the children. But she's a mother, and she took care of these children. So these two were the first Daityas, and that is why they are known as Adi Daityas, the first Daityas in the universe. There were no other Daityas before them, so they were Adi Daityas. They were so powerful, and with great power, they grew up. And as a young boy, Hiranyakashipu went away to deep meditation. He said he is extremely powerful. There was nobody else more powerful than him. But he wanted more. So he said, I'm going to go to deep meditation on Lord Brahma. So he went away. And then was Hiranyaksha. Hiranyaksha with his mighty power, great shoulders, great power. Uh, the universe had never seen such great power before. So this Hiranyaksha, while his brother was deep in meditation, Hiranyaksha was busy traveling the entire universe, going from one planet to the other planet, looking for powerful people. He said, anybody here is powerful and strong. My hands are itching. I need to fight with somebody. Somebody come and challenge me. He would defeat the most powerful people. In every planet he would go, he would defeat the most powerful. There was nobody like him. Then somewhere he heard that the most powerful Devata was Varuna. So Varuna is known to be the most powerful. So he goes down into the ocean. He knows where Varuna is. The place of Varuna under the ocean, just like in the land we have different cities and all that, and the chief minister or the prime minister would not be in every city. He has his one place, correct? Like in India, we have he's in Delhi probably right now. Similarly, in the ocean also, Varuna has his own place that is called as Vibhavari. Okay. So he was in Vibhavari. So he goes to Vibhavari and he speaks to Varuna. And Varuna, uh, he challenges Varuna. He says, Varuna, I've heard you are very powerful. Everybody speaks about your great power and you have great strength in your arms. So I'm challenging you right now. Don't reject my challenge. Challenging you. Let's get into a fight, a duel. So Varun Dev, very intelligently, he tells him, maybe when I was younger, I would have fought with you. But now I'm quite old. I don't think I will be able to give you a good fight. Even if I get into a fight with you, I won't be able to satisfy you. You're very powerful. Ah, he says you're a coward. There's nobody in the Devatas, there's nobody who can fight with me. You're a coward. So Varun Dev, he tells him that maybe you speak too soon. But I can recommend one person that you can fight with. I'm sure he will give you a good fight. He said, oh, really? Who's that? He said, Lord Vishnu. You meet Bhagavan Vishnu. If you can meet him, you meet him. He said, where will I find him? I want to find him right now. You tell me where to find him. He says, you pray that you may never find him. Because if you find him, then your body will be eaten by dogs. He said, so what is the meaning of your body will be eaten? That means you'll be fallen dead somewhere and the dogs will eat your body. So you pray that you may never meet Vishnu. He says, I want to meet him. You tell me where to meet him. He says, Mahavishnu is not somebody you can just find going from one planet to the other. Only a devotee of the Lord knows where Mahavishnu is. So he says, which devotee is there? He says, the greatest devotee in the universe of Narayana is Narad Muni. So you go and meet Narad Muni. He will tell you. So he goes and meets Narad Muni, and Narad Muni says that you will find Vishnu in the hearts of every devotee. But then he says that Vishnu is there also in the Garbhodaka ocean, under the ocean. So he goes into the ocean and he tries to find, but he is unable to find the Lord. Hmm? So he becomes very frustrated, and his frustration, he tries to, "Oh, I'm going to break some planets and destroy the place, and the whole universe I will destroy. Where is this Vishnu? He's a coward. He's hiding from me." So at this time, there is, everybody is scared, and all the devatas, they go to Lord Brahma. And there's something that I want to tell you before I continue from here. Lord Varahadev, he comes into this universe twice, okay? Two times. So In his first time, he comes as both as Varaha, but once he comes as Shweta Varaha, white, Shweta, white Varaha, Shweta Varaha, and the second time he comes as Rakta Varaha, red color, Rakta Varaha. So first time when he came, this was not for Hiranyaksha. When the first time he came, this was during the time of creation, when the earth, Bhumi Devi, she toppled from the orbit and she had fallen into the Garbhodaka ocean. So Varahadev appeared at that particular point and very carefully he picked up um, Bhumi, Bhumi Devi and brought her up and put her back on the orbit. This was during the time of creation. Initially, all the planets were coming up and all that. At that particular point, he had tilted and fallen away from the orbit, and she had fallen into the Garbhodaka ocean. Okay, Garbhodaka ocean is not like the oceans we have on Earth. That's a different ocean. Half of the universe is filled with water. That water is called as Garbhodaka ocean. Okay. Now, that was the first time, and that's why he is called as Shvetavaraha. So there are some temples, if you Google it, you may find Shvetavaraha temple. Uh, this also in the southern part of India and Karnataka, in Mysore, there is a Shvetavaraha temple, like that. Anyway, so the second time, when he comes for Hiranyaksha, now this is coming back to where we stopped. They all approach Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma was just thinking, what do we do now? He's just creating havoc. And then, um, just to disturb everybody, Hiranyaksha, he carries Bhumi, earth, and again he topples her because he heard that initially Varahadev, Vishnu had come as Varaha to protect Bhumi. So he says, let's see if he can come this time also. So he topples earth, and he was so powerful that he pushed earth off her orbit, and she falls into the Garbhodaka, and she goes to the bottom of Garbhodaka, and she's stuck in the muck, the featured the muck in the bottom of the ocean. Now, what kind of a creature would go to the muck, go to dirt and pull? We've seen boars, no, wild boars. It digs the earth and pulls out things from under the earth. So that is why uh, the all beautiful Supreme Lord Mahavishnu, there is nobody in this earth, nobody in this universe or any universe as beautiful as him. His lotus eyes, his lotus lips, his hair, his body is so beautiful, the Lord. And this Lord, he appears as a boar, as a Varaha, Shukara Rupa. So now actually Varaha, um, generally we say that the word Varaha means, boar. Actually, that is wrong. In fact, even a lot of Sanskrit scholars that I'm aware of, they also say, even if you go to the Sanskrit Shabdakosh, the dictionary, they say you translate boar to Sanskrit, it will say Varaha. That is wrong. Okay, so don't always go by the Shabdakosh, dictionary. You should go by the Acharyas, what the Purva Acharyas have explained, because they have given the right explanation. Even Sanskrit can be wrong in the Sanskrit dictionary. So, Varaha means a gigantic personality, a very tall personality, a very tall personality. That is the meaning of Varaha, not boar. Boar is Shukara. Okay, so Varaha. That is why when Varaha appeared, it is said that in the first time when he appeared as Shweta Varaha, the entire universe, his chest, his body expanded so much that the entire universe and even Lord Brahma, uh, who's on the topmost planet, even he had to look up at this unending body of the Lord. So he's so tall. So he called him Varaha. Varaha, so tall, so big. So that is the meaning of the word Varaha, not boar. That's a wrong translation that we see in the dictionary. Anyway, so this Lord, where does he come from? He comes from Lord Brahma's nostril. Okay, so while Lord Brahma is speaking to the Devatas and he's saying the earth has been toppled, earth is, and there is nobody who can fight with Hiranyaksha. And at this time, just like sometimes we feel like sneezing, uh, Lord Brahma, he got a urge to sneeze and he sneezed. And from his nose comes Varahadev, a small, but he was the size of a thumb, Lord Brahma's thumb. And he comes out from the nostril of um, Lord Brahma. Now, why the nostril of Lord Brahma? Because in the beginning of creation, Mahavishnu, in the form of breath, he transfers his breath to the breath of Brahma. So Brahma is actually carrying the breath of Lord Vishnu. And this breath, through his breath, he transfers all the Vedic literatures. All the Vedic literatures were transferred into the breath of Lord Brahma. And through this knowledge coming from the breath of Mahavishnu, he's able to create the entire cosmos. And from the same breath comes Varahadev. The same Vishnu comes from the breath. This is to show that Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita, Vedescha Sarvair Hameva Vedya. He says, I am the Vedas. I am the purpose of the Vedas. I am the Vedas and I am the purpose of the Vedas. There's nobody in the universe who can make a statement like that. Krishna makes a statement like that. So, this Krishna, this Mahavishnu, he appears as Varahadev to show that the Vedas themselves, the purpose of the Vedas themselves have appeared now from the breath of Brahma, the same Vedic breath Varahadev appears. And everybody was fascinated, and they see this small Varaha, the size of a thumb. And just when they were thinking, what is this small? Is that what is that? And as they were thinking, Varaha just grew, and Lord Brahma was, was amazed that Lord Varahadev, you're here to protect us. And the Lord Brahma becomes so happy and so pleased because they were all in such fear and anxiety. And Lord, Lord Varahadev, he looks at Hiranyaksha and he ignores him completely. And Hiranyaksha is, he's hitting his own fists and he's saying, finally, you're Vishnu, right? You're Vishnu, you've come in this particular form. I am here to fight you. Finally, I made sure that you're here. And he was so enthusiastic and he picks up his club and Varahadev just ignores him like he's a street dog, just ignores him. And he goes directly into the ocean to pick up his wife. Bhumi Devi, his wife, right? So if you go to Tirumala, we hear that uh, Tirumala Govinda, he has Sri Devi and Bhu Devi, his two wives, right? So this is the same Bhu Devi. Now this Bhu Devi so he said, I need to save my wife. That's my purpose. That is why I'm here. So as he was going down, he makes Hiranyaksha, he makes fun of the Lord. Ah, you're a beast. Look at you, some animal, dirty animal. And he makes fun of the Lord. And the Lord becomes enraged. So he tells Bhumi Devi, hang on, I'll be back. You can look at any movies in this world. There is no hero like Varahadev. There is no hero like Vishnu. There is nobody. Any movie you see, any scene you see, everybody is just a very weak copy. Everybody is a very weak copy of Vishnu. They try to do that in a very weak manner. But the original hero, and the only hero rather, is Mahavishnu. So he tells his wife, hang on, I'll be back. So he goes back. He says, I'm going to teach this guy a lesson. So he jumps out of the water, and he sees Hiranyaksha. And he says, okay, let's go for it. So Varahadev also holds a club and they engage in a big fight. Both of them are hitting each other. Now, Varahadev, just by his will, he can kill Hiranyaksha. He just needs to think, let him die, and he will die. Immediately, he will perish. But um, he also wants to engage in fight, right? So this is a spirit. This is also an engagement. Because originally, these Daityas, we all know this, in Vaikuntha, both of them were Jaya and Vijaya, right? Both of them were devotees. And because of the curse of the Kumaras, they appeared as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. So he knew that he doesn't remember it, but actually he is my devotee. And he was engaging in a fight with his own devotee. All right. So it is said that Varahadev, when his own devotee hits him, it was like the offering of a devotee offering flowers to the Lord. Just like, we offer flowers to the Lord. So Varahadev would feel that Hiranyaksha beating him with a club was like him offering flowers. So he would accept it as flowers. So he played with him for some time. But the Devatas did not know of all this. The Devatas were very, very scared. They were shivering. In fact, Lord Brahma was sweating. Lord Brahma had never perspired like that before. And he was perspiring and he was scared. Words, they were not able to utter those words. And the celestial rishis were chanting prayers, the Vedic hymns, glorifying the Lord. And Lord Brahma was just praying in his mind. He was praying to Varahadev. Varahadev, you're just playing with this, but we are really scared. We don't know what will happen. And as he was doing, because why was Lord Brahma scared? Is because you see, Daityas or ghosts, they all become more powerful after sunset. When the sun is down and it becomes dark, that is when they become more powerful. They're a little weaker during the day. Their strength becomes tenfold once the sun goes down. Very, very powerful. So Hiranyaksha was already powerful. After sunset, he will become more powerful. Now it was almost time for sunset. Now we know that once sunset goes, this Hiranyaksha is fighting with Varahadev now, almost like equals. He will become 10 times more powerful. Then what will Varahadev do? So he was praying that Varahadev, stop playing with him. If you can just kill him right now, we would all be very pleased. And in between this fight, you know, Varahadev turns around and looks at Brahma, and the fearful, looking at Brahma's face, which is so filled with fear, he understands the mood of Lord Brahma, the prayer of Lord Brahma. But still, but still, Varahadev says he waits, and in his mind he tells Brahma that no, I will kill him only after sunset. You know why he wanted to kill him only after sunset? Because in the future, somebody may say, because there are a lot of supporters, no, for Daityas. Even today, you see, if you talk about Ramayana, there are many people who will say, but Ravan was actually a great person. Ravan was actually very great. They try to find different ways of glorifying Ravan. Huh? Yeah, yeah. Lord Ram must have done. But Ravan did not touch Sita Devi, they don't know, they've never read Ramayana, but they will say such things. Um, or Ravan was such a learned person in the Vedas. Hey, don't talk about Ravan. Ravan is a great devotee of Lord Shiva. When Ravan meditated on Lord Shiva and Lord Shiva appeared in front of him, you know what Ravan asked? When Lord Shiva asked him, Ravana, you tell me what you want. You've meditated, I've appeared. Ask me any desire. He says, I want Parvati. He desired for Parvati. You call this person a devotee? But anyway, such Raman also has devotees today in this Kali Yuga. Many people are there who glorify him instead of Lord Ram. Anyway, so to dissipate any doubt in the future that nobody should doubt the strength of Varahadev. If he had killed him at that time, somebody would have said, yeah, yeah, he killed him. But if it was after sunset, then Hiranyaksha would have any time become more powerful than Varaha. Varaha would have not had any chance. So to dispel all the doubts of even in the future, nobody should ever question. Varahadev said, I will kill him, but I will kill him only after sunset. Let him bring his entire prowess and strength. So sunset, and now Hiranyaksha became extremely powerful. His body was blazing with strength, and he said, now I'm going to kill. And he hit the mace of the Gada, the mace of Varahadev, and the mace went flying. And everybody said, oh, Hiranyaksha has become more powerful. Varahadev's mace slipped from his hand, but Varahadev was just playing like a cat plays with a mouse. So at this time, he uh, he punched Hiranyaksha so much that he started bleeding. And now Varahadev said, "Game over. I'm done playing with you." And he brings out a Sudarshan Chakra and he chops Hiranyaksha's neck. And Hiranyaksha falls down. And just like what Varuna said, uh, so this um, Lord Varaha, when Hiranyaksha told that, oh, you're an animal, you're an animal. He said, yes, yes, I'm an animal, and I'm here to eat dogs like you. So then Lord Varahadev takes his tusk and he pokes um this Hiranyaksha, and he lifts him with his body and he throws him away. And his face, Lord Varahadev's tusk and his face is smeared with the blood of Hiranyaksha. And looking at this, all the devatas start glorifying the Lord. They glorify the Lord, looking at the death of Hiranyaksha, and they shower flowers on him, and they shower prayers on Varahadev. And they say, thank you, my Lord. You've protected us. Like always, you're always there to protect us. And they glorify and they call Varahadev, they refer to him as Yagya Purusha. He is Yagya himself. In fact, any Yagya that you see today, is impossible. The darba grass that is used by if you've performed any homa, the darba grass that is used, the purohit ties in their finger and they perform darba grass. No activities, even yoga performance, etc., should be performed on darba grass. So this grass is actually the hair of the body of Varahadev. It comes from his hair. So today, no yagya would have been possible without the blessings of Varahadev. So Varahadev he came for many reasons. And primary reason was to protect his devotee, uh, all the devatas, and his beloved wife, Bhumi Devi. So, with all the blood on his body, he says, I need a bath. And he jumps into the Garbhodaka water. He goes down to the muck below the water, and with his tusk, he moves around and he finds Bhumi Devi. And such a powerful Lord, a raging Lord, becomes very, very gentle the moment he touches Bhumi Devi. Just like a loving husband is supposed to be, no matter how strong and angry and vigorous and this and that outside, a good husband is actually very soft and gentle with his wife. So just like that, setting a great standard for all husbands in this world, Varahadev very gently carries Bhumi Devi and puts her on his tusk and jumps out of the Garbhodaka ocean and comes up, and everybody glorify Bhu Varaha, Mother Bhumi, and our eternal father Varahadev. So then with his tusk, he gently puts her back on the orbit and he says, okay, now you're fine. So while the Devatas, everybody was glorifying, and this is a very, very glorious pastime of Varahadev. And it is very important that we glorify Varahadev. No matter how many times we hear the glories of Varahadev, it is always new and always very relishing, because these stories are not dead stories. These are live stories, because right now it is happening in some universe. As you and I are speaking, in our universe it has happened in the past, but in some other universe it is happening right now. So it's always live. As we are speaking, it is happening somewhere else. Hmm? This Bhumi Devi and Varahadev, as an extension of this particular pastime, this Bhumi Devi and Varahadev, they also had a child and a son, a very powerful son. Obviously, the son of Vishnu has to be powerful. Son of Vishnu and Bhumi Devi, what amazing DNA he must have. So a very, very powerful, glorious son. And this son, who was a son of Varahadev and Bhumi Devi, the purpose of the son was to protect the devatas. He said, now my son, I may not, I'm here, I come, I incarnate, but even in my absence, my son will take care of all the devatas. So this son's name was Bhauma, because he was the son of Bhumi. His name was Bhauma. So this Bhauma was a very pious son, following all the Vedic rituals, practices, and he fought many wars and took care of the devatas in many ways. Now, in course of time, what happened was this Bhauma, he started associating with some daityas. There were many daityas by then, many daityas that had filled up the universe by then. So he started associating with some of these daityas. In fact, he made friends with some of these daityas. And one of his best friend was called as Banasura. Banasura was one of his friends. And in this close association with a daitya, this Bhauma's mind also um, started getting disturbed. And he also started becoming like a Daitya. He started behaving like a Daitya. Varahadev, even when he appeared at that time, in the beginning of Satya Yuga, he had told Lord Brahma and all the devatas that if my devotees are in trouble, if anybody insults my devotees, nobody understood the meaning of this at that time. But Varahadev said that I don't care who they are, whoever troubles my devotees, even if it is my own son, I will punish, I will kill my own son if I have to protect my devotees. That is how dear my devotees are. But nobody understood which son, what are you talking? Varahadev knew everything. That is, Varahadev is Trikalagna. He knows the past, present, and future. He knows everything. So, this Bhauma, in association with Banasura, also became an Asura. And he became popular as Bhaumasura, also known as Narakasura. So, during Diwali, we celebrate a particular day. Anybody can tell me? Narakasura, you can connect it with any day during Diwali.
Naraka Chaturdasi, Prabhu.
Mm. So it is called as Naraka Chaturdashi, right? So it's for a particular reason, right? So this Bhaumasura, also known as Narakasura, he had lived for many yugas by then, and on different planets and all that. And now this was Dwapara Yuga, and in Dwapara, Krishna had appeared, and once all the pastimes were going on, the same Varahadev is coming as Krishna now. Oh, sorry. So, this Varahadev, sorry, let me ask. When he appears as Krishna, our Bhagwan Lord Krishna, during that particular time, in the Swargaloka, this Narakasura had gone to the Devatas, and he just wanted to insult them. What a great insult will be for a son, for a son, in front of the son, if somebody were to insult the mother, uh, and the son cannot do anything about it, he would feel so insulted. So he goes to Swargaloka just to insult Indra. He's not going to take away his throne, and he says, who wants your throne? I have better facilities in life. So he goes there and he looks at Indra, and he goes to Indra's mother, and he takes away her earring, as a form of insult. He pulls her earring out, and she was holding an umbrella, a golden umbrella. He says, "You give this umbrella. What are you doing with the umbrella?" He pulls the umbrella, and he takes the earrings and the umbrella, and he goes away. And Indra is standing there. Indra is the most powerful devata, and he's helpless. He's unable to do anything. And this Narakasura is so powerful, so unlimitedly powerful. There's nobody in the universe that can defeat him. And he's a son of Vishnu. Who can defeat him? So there's nothing that he could do. And he was so, feeling helpless and insulted that he said, there's nobody that can help us except for Krishna. But will Krishna kill his own son? So we don't know. So he comes to Dwarka, and he meets Krishna, and he pays his obeisances, and he glorifies Krishna. And he says, Krishna, this is what is going on. And he insulted my mother. And, she's the mother of the universe. And in front of us, he insulted her, and there's nothing we can do about it. So Krishna says, don't worry, I'll take care of it. And I will restore the pride of your mother, and I will come. Just go and wait for me. So he said, if you need any army and support, and Krishna says, just go back. I'll manage it. Now, what had happened meanwhile is that Bhumi Devi had appeared to Krishna and told Krishna that no matter what, don't kill my son. because Bhaumasura, whatever it is, mother is attached to a son. So she says, sometimes children become naughty, so don't punish him. Don't kill him in any way. You promise me. If you want to punish, okay, but don't kill him in any way. But Krishna made no such promises. Krishna only remained silent. But he also didn't want to break the promise of, break the word of Bhumi Devi. And that is why when he decided to go to war, he decided to go with Satyabhama, his wife, hmm, one of his prominent wives. Rukmini and Satyabhama are two of his prominent wives. So Krishna went along with Satyabhama. Now, why specifically with Satyabhama? Because Satyabhama, the Shastras explain that Satyabhama is the origin of Bhumi Devi. Okay, so Bhumi Devi is an expansion of Satyabhama. So if Satyabhama gives approval, then it is as good as Bhumi giving approval. Okay, because she is the origin. Satyabhama is the origin, and Bhumi is the expansion of that Satyabhama. So Krishna, along with Satyabhama, sits on Garuda. Okay, and both of them they fly to Mandara Parvata because Mandara Parvata is where this Narakasura or Bhaumasura was. Now this Bhaumasura, in our we would have seen different kings and all that building different forts and big walls and everything. These were like the walls built by our kings here, old ancient kings here, were like straw huts compared to what Bhaumasura had built for himself. His compound walls were made of big rock and giant metal, steel pawns. There was no way you could penetrate it. So there were different layers of protection. There were giant rock like the size of mountains covering his palace. And then there was a layer of fire. Then there was a layer of electricity. We talk about electricity, that some modern scientist invented electricity. Electricity was always there. Maybe not through bulbs and all that, but electricity is always there through, the currents of the air. So he was able to uh, get that, derive that kind of electricity, and he made a wall of that. And then he also had a big, surrounded by dangerous a lake, like his entire palace was surrounded by a water body filled with all kinds of serpents and crocodiles and different kinds of creatures, water creatures which were there. So there was just no way for anybody to enter it. So even if Devatas in some war or something, they couldn't even get him by surprise because there's no chance you can enter that place. The moment you enter, you will die. It was like that. So Krishna goes along with Garuda Dev to this particular place and his beloved wife Satyabhama. And he pulls out one arrow after the other, one arrow after the other. And he starts shooting, and all these different layers start exploding like never before. And it creates a thunderous sound everywhere. Now, from this moat or this water body that was surrounding the lake, the palace, there was a demon hiding inside. And that demon's name was Mura. Mura was a very dangerous, very powerful. And he used to live underwater. He was that kind of a creature. He was living underwater. So he hears all this noise and he says, I think the palace is under threat. And my king, my friend and my king Bhaumasura is could be in trouble. So let me go. So he steps out like a giant crocodile. He steps out of this water. And this Mura has 5 heads. And he was carrying a trident, a trishul in his hand. And he looks at Krishna and Satyabhama coming on Garuda, and he throws his trident far, really fast, and the trident goes and hits uh, Garuda. And this trident can penetrate anybody's heart. Such a powerful trident. And the moment it hits Garuda, not even a single feather in Garuda's body moved. Not even a single feather. So Mura was very confused. He said, oh, what is this? Then he started taking his weapons and he started throwing it. And Krishna but Krishna got very angry. Though nothing happened to Garuda, you never touch Krishna's devotees. Right? So Krishna got very angry. "Well, I am attacking you. Why did you not attack me? Why did you attack Garuda?" So Krishna takes his arrows and he started shooting arrows at, and breaking all his weapons. And Krishna did not want to waste time with someone who has attacked his devotee. So immediately he shoots his 5 arrows and he chops off his 5 heads. And Mura, like a giant mountain, he falls into the ocean, into the water. Mura. And the word for enemy in Sanskrit is Ari. So who's the enemy of Mura? Who's the
Arisud,
who's the Ari of Mura?
Krishna,
The, so Krishna got a name because of that.
Arisudan,
Murari. Murari. So because he is the enemy of Mura, he is called as Murari, right? There are other meanings for Murari also, but this is one of the meanings of Murari. Okay, so like this. So in this way,
also
um,
Arishna Prabhuji,
Hare Krishna. Yeah,
Hare Krishna, also Arisudana.
yeah, Arisudana. Yeah, Arisudana is a different meaning, but here specifically for Murari. Killing Mura, he's called as Murari. So
Uh,
Arisudana is a name also mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, that is also there.
thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So in this way, after killing Mura, uh, Krishna enters the palace, and uh, Narakasura comes, and Narakasura starts attacking Krishna with all his weapons and all his glory and all his strength. He puts all his strength, and Krishna uh, is fighting him constantly. But at some point, Satyabhama says, kill him. He's causing so much of disturbance because Satyabhama gets to know that he's such a low class character that this person had kidnapped the princesses. He used to go to all the kingdoms and all the daughters of these kings to insult them. He used to kidnap them and he used to lock them up in a jail. When Satyabhama got to know about this, she said that this is disgusting. This person has no right to live. So whoever he is, Krishna, kill him. So now he has got the permission of Satyabhama, which means he has the permission of Bhumi Devi, the origin of Bhumi. So he immediately kills Narakasura or Bhaumasura, who falls dead. Now, looking at the dead son, Bhumi Devi herself appears. She comes from earth and she says that, okay, my son is dead. I'm sure he deserved it. Um, but he's been killed by you, and thank you. Because if he's killed by you, that means he will get moksha. So thank you so much for liberating him from this life that he had. And I also was sentimental about it. What to do? I'm a mother. But she brings a small boy with her, and the small boy is the son of Narakasura. Huh? So she says that this small boy is the son of Narakasura, and so he was looking at Krishna and he was very scared that, I'm the son of Narakasura, is he going to kill me? So Krishna pats him on his shoulder and says, no, you can now be the king, and I'm not going to harm you in any way. So he feels relieved. The boy feels relieved, and he says, live righteously. He gives him some advice to live righteously, and Bhumi Devi returns the wherever Narkasura had hidden the earrings and umbrella, etc., of Indra's mother. He returns that to Krishna, and she disappears from there. So Krishna then takes all those things. He enters the palace, and he breaks all the locks and relieves all these princesses. And how many princesses were there? 16,000 princesses. Okay, young girls. And this person had kidnapped all of them. We don't know for how many days and how many weeks. They were all locked up there in a very deplorable situation. They all looked weak and they all looked tired. And they were all, in such a depressed mood. And they were looking at Krishna. And Krishna just walked in there like a king. And he was holding his bow and arrow. And the universe was, reminded of Lord Ram, because Lord Ram, with his kodanda, with his bow. So just like that, Krishna was holding his kodanda and he was looking at all the princesses. And in their eyes, there was so much of desperation and sadness that, the society at that time, probably even now, but the society at that time, if a woman were to stay away from her house for even one night, she would be rejected. Nobody would marry her. Um, But these girls were away for so many days, so there was just no way anybody would marry her. They were just uh, rejected by the society. Even though they were princesses, they were rejected by the society, and nobody would ever marry her. Everybody would say, "You have stayed with some asura for so many days. We don't know what has happened. We are not. Nobody will ever touch or marry." So they were like that, and they said, nobody's ever even going to look at us, Krishna. You freed us, but we have nowhere to go. So Krishna opens the big treasury house of Narakasura, and all the jewelry and gold and everything. He says, please go and dress up and wear all the jewelry and dress up like princesses, because all of you are princesses. I want you to look happy. So look happy. So they go, they wear all the jewelry and they're there, but they're still very sad. So Krishna arranges for chariots, he arranges for transport, and he says, I want all of you to go to Dwaraka. And if no other city in the world is ready to accept you, Dwaraka, the gates of Dwaraka are always open. So you go to Dwaraka and you stay there. And in their hearts, because Krishna had given shelter to them, in their hearts, immediately all 16,000 of them accepted Krishna as their husband. And Krishna also accepted them. So, but before formally marrying them, Krishna had a duty. He has no duties. But Krishna took it upon himself. He is such a kind-hearted gentleman. There is nobody like Krishna in this world. So Krishna took it upon himself that I have the earrings and the umbrella that belongs to Indra's mother. I need to go there. So along with Satyabhama, he goes to Swarga and he meets the mother and he pays obeisances to her and say, here is your pride. And the person who took away your pride is dead. And Indra and all the devatas, they thank Krishna so much. They said, you've saved us, you've saved us. We have no way to thank you. Thank you so much. And Krishna says, okay, it's time for me to leave. I have other duties to perform. So Krishna and Satyabhama, along with their Garuda, uh, were on the way from Garuda, from Swargaloka to back to Bhumi. But in Swargaloka, while they were passing by, long ago, some time ago, not very long ago, some time ago, Krishna had got a Parijata flower and he had given that as a gift to Rukmini. And Satyabhama had remembered that. And Satyabhama said, I also want a Parijata. Parijata is found only in Swargaloka. There is one Parijata that we find on earth also, like maybe a replica of that. But then the original Parijata is found not on earth, it's found only there. So um, he says, oh, you want a flower? I'll get you a flower. From the gardens, the Swarga gardens, I'll get. She says, no, you gave a flower to Rukmini. I don't want a flower. I want the whole tree. Krishna says, okay, you want a whole tree? I'll give you a whole tree. So he picks up the entire tree and, they were on their way back. And guess who stops them? Indra. And Indra says, hey, hello, you cannot just take the tree from Swargaloka and go to Bhumi. Who gave you the permission to take the tree? The same Indra who just a few minutes back was thanking and some time back had gone personally to Dwarka begging Krishna for protection to protect his pride that he was so insulted. The same Indra stops Krishna now. And he says, you can't take this tree. This is not for, Bholokavasis. Only for Swargaloka. Just, you didn't even ask me. You can just take something without asking me. So this is the nature of um, a Sakama Bhakta. Okay. Somebody who calls themselves a devotee of Krishna, but when it comes time to give something back in return to Krishna, they feel, no, but this is my money, this is my hard-earned, I have done this, I have done that, I have created this, but I will go to Tirupati, Tirumala, Jai, Govinda, Govinda, I will do that. But when it comes to time to give something, then we feel that, no, this is mine, that is mine. That is not a real bhakta. A real bhakta knows that everything belongs to him. I have taken things from Krishna, and whatever I have for my maintenance in my life, everything belongs to him. I'm only maybe at best a caretaker of some possessions of Krishna. The money that I have, the house that I have, the table, the laptop, the vehicle, everything belongs to the Lord. And I must use it only in his service, not for my own sense gratification. That is a bhakta. So Indra represented a Sakama Bhakta. He is a Bhakta, but he's a Sakama Bhakta. The moment Krishna took something, he said, no, no, that is mine. How you can take this? Immediately he forgot everything. And not just that. When Krishna refused to give it back, he said, no, I'm taking it. He bought his entire army to attack Krishna. Krishna single-handedly, like like matchsticks, he finished them off. And he said, I don't want to kill any of you. Better go back to your houses. They all became defeated and, insulted, and they all went away. They realized that Krishna, who are we talking to? So Krishna then, along with the tree and, his Krishna's own Shakti, his glorious wife Satyabhama, they come down to Dwaraka, and Satyabhama has her tree in her garden and a Parijata tree. And then Krishna, the Purohits at that time, says that the 16,000 wives are there, and now is a good time to get married to them. So Krishna accepts all 16,000 uh, princesses as his wives. Krishna already had 8 wives. So totally Krishna has 108 wives. So 16,000, sorry, these were 16,100 princesses. Okay, sorry about that. So then he had, 8 wives already. So 16,108 wives totally. Now, the beauty of this is that we may have seen some very big weddings, in our personal lives, or like last year there were the Ambani weddings. Everybody was, glorifying glorifying them. But Krishna's wedding, 16,100 wives. He had separate marriage halls for everybody, and Krishna was present in 16,100 forms everywhere. And every princess felt, maybe all the other princesses are waiting. Maybe I am the most special one because Krishna is here only with me. Because Krishna is not anywhere else. So he wants to marry only me. So everybody felt special because of Krishna. So Krishna made a separate marriage hall for everybody. He was simultaneously at the same time. Now, what about his relatives? Nanda Baba, Yashoda Mai, Devaki, Vasudeva, and his family, other family members. Krishna expanded all of them also into 16,000 different forms. So in every place, even Krishna's family was there. Nobody can do this. No one else can do this. So when people, sometimes there are some Babas, this, that, they claim that they are God. They are fools. They are nothing else. Just because they do some little bit of magic and they, something came out of this hand, something came out of this hand, something came out of their mouth, and they say, oh, great magic, and they have so many followers. Oh, everything is bogus. There is only one Bhagwan, and this is that Bhagwan who has shown his opulence in such a wonderful way that nobody else can even imagine mimicking it. There are real siddhas who are there, and there are some people who have siddhis, and these siddhis you can also expand to multiple forms, and the maximum you can siddha, somebody who's a siddha, and multiply their forms into 8 forms, atta forms. Krishna, 16,000, and even that is a very small number for Krishna. Krishna is there in each one of our hearts. Krishna is there in the heart of every jiva here. Hriddeshe Arjuna Tishtati is telling Arjuna, I am in the hearts of every living entity. Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. Not just in their heart, I'm also their best friend. Suhridam. I'm close to their heart. Suhridam. Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. Hriddeshe Arjuna Tishtati. I reside in their hearts. What is 16,000 for Krishna? So this is Krishna. So we made a connect from Varahadev to Krishna and how Krishna appeared. It was a continuation of Varaha's pastime. So this wonderful Varahadev, whom we must all worship, and we must all pray to this Varahadev. And this Varahadev, um, he has there are many devotees of Varahadev. So many devotees are there. Even in Sri Mayapur Dham, there is a place, it is called Navadvip, the 9 islands in Mayapur. Uh, so there is one of the dvipas there is called as Kola Dvipa. So Kola Dvipa, Kola in the local language means boar. So that is a dvipa where the Lord appeared also. And he appeared because there was a Brahmana devotee. And the Brahmana devotee was a great devotee of Varahadev. And he had worshipped Varahadev. And he used to pray that, you please bless my eyes by appearing in front of me. So Varahadev had appeared in front of this Brahmana. So that particular place is called as Kola Dvipa. It is in Mayapur Kshetra. And of the 9 islands, Navadvipa, that is one of the Dvipas, Kola Dvipa. Like that, Varahadev is not just for Satyayuga. Varahadev will appear even now to his wonderful devotees. Varahadev has come in so many different forms. Varahadev is non-different from Krishna. Varahadev is non-different from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is non-different from Lord Nrsimha. He is non-different from so many other different forms. So this is Varahadev. So sometimes certain communities say no, because of certain laws that support them, that this land belongs to us, that land belongs to us, and the government feels helpless because we say, no, from this many years, it is our law that this land, when we claim this land belongs to us. Many communities are there. Like, I mean, there is one particular community that is claiming that certain pieces of land, a lot of land belongs to them in India. So we need to tell them that the whole Bhumi belongs to Varahadev, and not just few sites here and there. The whole Bhumi belongs to Varahadev, right? Bhumi Devi is our mother, and Varahadev is our father. So, yes, tomorrow is Varaha Dvadashi, the day that Varahadev appeared. And today is Ekadashi, Bhaimi Ekadashi. It's also known as Jaya Ekadashi, the Ekadashi of victory. So anybody who performs Ekadashi, you become victorious in your struggle uh, of life and death to get out of this samsara. You become victorious. That's how it is. It's a very, very important Ekadashi. Tomorrow is Varaha Dvadashi, the day that Varahadev appeared. So with all your hearts, pray to Varahadev tomorrow. And day after tomorrow is Nityananda Trayodashi, when Lord Balaram appeared in that same Mayapur Dham. Close to Mayapur Dham, there is a place called Ekachakra. That Lord Balaram, he comes when Krishna appears as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Balaram appears as Nityananda Prabhu. Okay, so Nityananda Prabhu, a very, very wonderful, beautiful form of the Lord, Balaram himself, he comes as Nityananda Prabhu to bless us. And says there's some glorious pastimes of Nityananda Prabhu as well. Nityananda Prabhu is known to be the most merciful. In all the forms of the Lord, if you pray to Nityananda Prabhu responds immediately, and he blesses his devotees immediately. And a devotee of Nityananda Prabhu has no fear in this world because he has the backing of Balaram. And Lord Balaram, you see, during Mahabharat, uh, while Krishna was supporting everybody else, Balaram also blessed everyone, but he also blessed Duryodhan. While nobody gave blessings to Duryodhan, Balaramji blessed Duryodhan. Why? Somebody may think, why Balaramji should think, no, he's a wrong guy and all that. The idea is that when nobody is there, when somebody is such a dutta, a horrible person, there is nobody to bless that person. Even for such a downtrodden, fallen, rotten person, Balramji is there. Balramji blesses even such people. He says, okay, nobody may bless you, but I will bless you. So he was giving Duryodhan some blessing at that particular point. So the same Balramji appears as Nityananda Prabhu, and he has the same mood. So we may talk many things about Duryodhan, but the truth is that in this Kali Yuga, in Dwapara, there was only one Duryodhan. But in Kali Yuga, there are many Duryodhans. Many Dushasans are there. Many Duryodhans are there. And truth be told that we all have some Duryodhan within us also. There's some kind of envy, anger, hatred. We all have that at some level within us. And this Nityananda Prabhu, when nobody else would give shelter to us, Nityananda Prabhu gives shelter to us. That Dauji, Balramji gives shelter to us. So someone who has nobody, they always will have Dauji. They will always have Balram or Nityananda Prabhu. That Nityananda Prabhu is his appearance day is on a Trayodashi. So these 3 days are very wonderful because today is Ekadashi, tomorrow is Varaha Dvadashi, and on Monday is Nityananda Trayodashi. So these are 3 wonderful days that come together every year. And we celebrate it with a lot of joy. And we also fast. Ekadashi fasting is very important. I don't know how many of you in this group fast on Ekadashi, but it's a very, very important fast. If you're not fasting, I would request you and encourage you to start fasting. See, these are all just mental blocks. You may feel, Acha, Every 15 days, once in a year, if something is there, you tell me, every 15 days how to fast. Arey, do it. Huh? Nothing will happen. You can fast. So we all thought at some point when we started also, we thought Ekadashi is very difficult. Now you can't live without Ekadashi. We look forward to Ekadashi because Ekadashi is a day when so many sins which are bigger than Mandana Hill, bigger than Meru Hill, so many sins we don't know we performed in so many lifetimes. All of that gets burnt. We get an opportunity to go closer to Krishna. If something is taking us closer to Varahadev, uh, we will fast every day also for him. So what? What is a big deal? Huh? So back in the day, people were doing big fasts. All of you would have heard of Amrish Maharaj, etc. Uh, now Krishna is expecting just one day, which comes, so twice a month it will come, Ekadashi, and it comes on Krishna Paksha or Shukla Paksha, doesn't matter. Ekadashi is Ekadashi. I'm telling you this because sometimes certain communities they will tell you that Shukla Paksha Ekadashi you should do, Krishna Paksha Ekadashi you should not do. Don't listen to all that. All that is nonsense. They have not studied the Shastras properly. That is why they say such things. There is no difference. Mahabharata, if you read the Mahabharata also, very clearly it mentions, and even Bhishma Dev mentions, there is no difference between Shukla Ekadashi and Krishna Ekadashi. Both Ekadashis are equally auspicious. Just like if I tell you to go and serve a cow, we must serve Gaumata. If somebody asks, should I serve white Gaumata or black Gaumata? Are, what does that mean? Gaumata is Gaumata, white, black, brown, whatever color she is Gaumata only. Or if I say offer Tulsi, you have, uh, you know, uh, the white Tulsi or light green Tulsi and black Krishna Tulsi. Which one should I offer? Are both are Tulsi only. You offer Tulsi. Tulsi is Tulsi. Gaumata is Gaumata. Ekadashi is Ekadashi. Whichever. So sometimes you may find some people trying to give you some technical gyan. Don't listen to all that. Okay. Spiritual life is very simple. It's very easy to practice. So if you're unable to do a nirjal fast, there are different levels of fasting. If you're unable to do a nirjala means we don't even drink water. Nirjala fasting, if you're unable to do that, then you can do something called a sajala fasting. Sajala means along with water. You can drink some water. Like I do sajala. I'm unable to do nirjala always, particularly if I'm speaking a lot and all that, I need to drink some water. So sajala. But you can, if you're just water, how to manage, you can. But if you're unable to do that, then you do saphala that you can have with fruits. Okay. And Srila Prabhupada was very kind. He has also allowed us. So if you're unable to manage with just fruits also, you can have there are few items there. Generally, grains should not be consumed. Grains, beans, corn, barley, these are things that shouldn't be consumed. But there are certain things like quinoa, you know, if you look at quinoa and all that, it's a pollen kind of a thing. So that you can consume. Abundantly, of course, you can always consume milk and all that. Vegetables you can consume. But of course, in vegetables, don't use beans like that. But otherwise, vegetables you can consume if you just want to make like a sabzi. But make sure your masalas when you're adding and all that, that should not have any grains. Usually, what we do in our house is salt and one or two other things we may have separately just for these fasting days. We don't mix it with, because, like one day you're making chapati and you put your hand inside the salt dabba. Little bit of atta would have gone there, one powder. That is enough to break your Ekadashi. So to maintain purity of Ekadashi, should have a separate salt container, separate turmeric container, separate pepper container. This is enough. Then you can put your chili, whatever, and you can make a very simple sabzi. You can have your sabzi also. It's more than you will feel very light and very happy. So next day, you're giving a break. So once in 15 days, you should give a break to your digestive system. But if you're unable to fast completely, you can do these kind of things, few things. Uh, Slight compromises here and there, and that is still you will get the benefit of Ekadashi, even on that particular day. Then, if you can eat, then why you're fasting completely, why you don't eat anything and all that? Well, the idea is that at least for one day we try and give up the requirements for the body, and it will remind you that we are not this body. We are spirit soul. It gives you a reminder. And any kind of fast, the moment you put any kind of endeavor to fast, any kind of endeavor to remind yourself that you're not this body, Krishna becomes pleased. So we don't do this for any other reason. Sometimes, people say you can fast once in 15 days, good for your health, digestive system. Oh, okay. All that is there. They're all the secondary stuff, byproducts of fasting for Ekadashi. But our main focus is it pleases Varahadev. It pleases our Krishna. That is why we do it. Okay. So on this note, while encouraging all of you to look forward to Ekadashis next time, Ekadashi is something that all of us do. Yeah. In our Vedic culture, everybody used to fast for Ekadashi. It's not only for Brahmins and this and that, nothing like that. Everybody was fasting for Ekadashi, irrespective of caste, community, all that. Everybody was fasting. In course of time, these things just went away. But I'm telling you, many times, people say, Hindus need to wake up and this and that, all that. Just making such slogans, lifting flag, all these things, Hindus are not going to wake up. Any other community, look at them, any other religion. I actually have respect for them because whatever they need to follow, they will follow that with a great amount of courage and pride. They're fasting for an entire month. If one community they fast, no, for Ramzan, they will fast for the entire month. They will do it, and everybody will respect it around them. They'll say, "You're going to have lunch? No, Ramzan, we will not eat." Ah, acha, acha, sorry. Yeah, they respect that. But if we fast, we're hesitant to tell. Yeah, acha, you fast? What is this fasting? You went to temple. Arre, what did you do for New Year? Went to temple. Why? Very strange. You're wearing tilak? Very strange. What is this? So this is because of our weakness. For decades and decades, hundreds of years, we've been very weak because we're not following the Shastras. We will not have strength just by shouting, just by, if some political party, this party comes to the center, then, Hindus will become very strong. Nothing will happen. No political party will save you. What will save you is your own personal strength. If the entire community is fasting, is following the Shastras, then we will get our grit, we will get our courage back. That is how Sanatana Dharma is supposed to be established. Okay, so we are not against any community, nothing like that. In fact, we have respect for them for whatever they're doing, they're following very nicely. We need to do it too. Let us learn and let us learn from our own ancestors of what they have done. So it could be our grandparents or our parents. Sometimes they may not have followed strictly, and they did not encourage the children to follow. So we may have lost that habit because our parents did not teach us. But it's time for us to follow, and let us teach that to our children and make sure that as they grow, um, it becomes part of our culture and their habit, and it should normalize in their head that Are Ekadashi, we don't touch grains. And we should tell it wherever you're working, you're talking to your neighbors. Ekadashi, we should ask them, "Acha, you eat on Ekadashi? Okay, because we don't touch grains. It's very important. You should also follow that. So it's a very important thing. Do it for social reasons, do it for health reasons, but most importantly, do it for the reason of pleasing Krishna. Okay, and if Krishna is pleased, then the whole universe will be pleased. Uh, okay, so on this note, I'm going to end the session here. Any questions before we close the session for the day?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam,
Prabhu,
Mataji.
in Tirupati, Tirumala, there is a temple, Prabhu, Varaha temple. Very nice temple, Prabhu.
Yes. In fact, when we go to Tirumala, before you have darshan of Balaji, we are supposed
Yes,
to have darshan of Lakshmi Varaha. So only after you have darshan of Lakshmi Varaha Dev, only then we are supposed to have darshan of Balaji. That is true. A very beautiful temple. Yeah.
thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, even in Mathura, you have a very beautiful Shwetrang and the other color. Very beautiful, the temple is.
Yeah. Varaha Dev's temple.
Yeah.
Jai. So I hope all of you enjoyed the session today, and I hope tonight you will get dreams of Varahadev. Okay. And may Varahadev rule our hearts and our minds and guide us. And the slush and the muck that we are stuck in today, uh, maybe our hearts and our consciousness and our mind is filled with all kinds of dirt, because Kali Yuga is like that, no? The kind of, it could be movies, it could be so many things. We're all stuck in so much dirt that we're unable to grow, we're unable to get out of it. May this Varahadev, who's so merciful, get into this muck, and just like he protected Bhumi Devi and lifted Bhumi Devi from all the dirt and the muck that she was stuck in, may this Varahadev protect all of us, by removing us from this and putting us back into the orbit, into the original position where we belong, into a glorious position that we actually belong in. Okay, so with this prayer, I'm going to end the session here.
Hare Krishna, one question is there.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, please, please.
I was reading that in one millennium, Varadev came to save Earth.
Yeah.
Other millennium, he came to fight with Kenam, I think, Inaksha or something. So why
Yes.
why the difference? Ke same millennium, why he did not save Earth and Kenam? Like why 2 millennium different actually? He taken this one.
Yeah, Prabhu, both the times he came to save Bhumi, once she fell naturally, she lost balance from the orbit and she fell, not because of Hiranyaksha. So again, at that time, she fell into Garbhodaka ocean. So he goes and he picks her and he brings her back. So this was at the beginning of the creation at that time. Um, uh, and Manu had pointed it out, and Lord Brahma sees it, and Bhagavatam explains in this way. So he had come, but that was not for Hiranyaksha. The second time when he came, that is when on purpose Hiranyaksha had moved Bhumi into Garbhodaka ocean. That is when he comes as red Varahadev. He is also known as Rakta Varaha. In some Shastras, they refer to him as Neela Varaha. Probably because of Kalpa Veda. In a different Kalpa, he would have appeared as Neela Varna. But generally, he is known as Rakta Varaha. So he comes as Rakta Varaha. The first Varahadev is called Shweta Varaha, white Varaha. So both the times he came to protect Bhumi Devi.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Actually, I was not remembering second time. Actually, first time I remember.
Right. Yeah, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Hare Krishna,
So
Prabhuji. Thank you very
Hare
much.
Hare Krishna,
Thank
Prabhuji.
you. Thank you.
Prabhuji.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Hare
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you,
Dandavat Pranam.
Prabhuji. Hare
Thank
Krishna,
you.
Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna,
Dandavat
Prabhuji.
Pranam.
Pranam. Thank you very much.
Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna,
Dandavat
Prabhuji.
Pranam. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Okay.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. I'm going to end the call now. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.